Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome to the video. Unfortunately, my whiteboard has decided to take a dive and fall off the wall and break into a million pieces, and so we're going to be doing this face to face, but hopefully I can still bring you the same amount of value. Today we're going to be discussing how to diet for muscle gain. How are you supposed to be eating in order to gain muscle? But before we get into that, my name is Noah. I am the founder of Get Her Done Fitness, and I've made it my mission to help all the young men get the body and confidence they've always wanted. And I'm currently hosting a free video training where I'm showing you guys how to do exactly that. I'm showing you the exact copy-paste system that I learned and used in the past few years to gain 40 pounds that is going to help you to make the quickest, best, and easiest transformation possible, because I'm showing you what actually works. I've been through all the ups and downs and trial and error so that you don't have to. So if you want the simplest way to get the body of your dreams, go down below and click that first link. You guys are not going to regret it. But let's hop into the meat and beans of this video. Today we're going to be discussing how to diet for muscle gain. And like I said, unfortunately I don't have my whiteboard, and so I'm going to try to explain it the best I can. So if you can do a little bit of visualization, that would be very helpful in explaining this concept. So the number one thing with dieting to gain muscle, okay, is going to be a caloric surplus. This is the number one absolute must. Like, you cannot go without this. There's no other way to gain muscle. It doesn't matter what foods you're eating. It doesn't matter, how much of one particular food. It doesn't matter. Like, the only thing, the most important thing is going to be the caloric surplus. And if anyone says otherwise, they're lying to you, okay? Because it is calories in, calories out, all right? It doesn't matter what you're eating. It doesn't matter how much of a certain food you're eating. It doesn't matter what time you eat. It doesn't matter the volume at certain times. What matters is the calories in a day, okay? So you need to be in a caloric surplus. And a caloric surplus is where you are consuming more calories than you are burning, okay? So you are consuming more than you are burning. And so those extra calories are going to be used to build the muscle. They're going to be used as the fuel to pack on that size, pack on that mass, okay? So you need to be in a caloric surplus, first of all. And second of all, you need to have enough protein. You need to have high protein. And so what this is going to mean for, I would say, all of you, is going to be 1 gram per pound of body weight, where you are, if you're 150 pounds, you're going to be eating 150 grams of protein. If you're 135 pounds, you're going to be eating 135 grams of protein. 200 pounds, 200 grams of protein. I think you guys get the idea. But the point is that you have to be in a caloric surplus, and you have to be eating enough protein, okay? And the best way to visualize this, if it's a little bit difficult to understand why, is going to be imagining your body as a construction crew, okay? And they have construction equipment, okay? And the construction equipment is used to build your muscle, because you want to build muscle, right? And so the calories, the caloric surplus, those extra calories that you aren't burning, are going to be used as the fuel to build the muscle. It's the fuel that they're putting into the construction equipment, okay? And then the building materials that piece of construction equipment is using is going to be the protein. So it needs the fuel and it needs the building blocks. That's going to come from your calories and your protein, okay? And so in terms of tracking this, making it super easy, I would highly recommend they use an app like MyFitnessPal. I'm not sponsored or affiliated in any way, shape, or form. I just really like their platform, and I've used it for the entire time that I've been tracking my calories, and I haven't had any issues. Been seamless, and they have a huge database that has almost like every single imaginable food in it from every single brand. So you shouldn't have difficulty finding anything for the most part. And so I would highly recommend that you use that. But then all that you're going to worry about is your protein and your calories, okay? Because in MyFitnessPal, you're going to see your calories, and then you're going to see your macros, or your macronutrients. And your macronutrients are going to be your carbs, your fats, and your protein. But like I said, you just got to worry about the calories and the protein. So don't even worry about your carbs and fats. Like, those can fluctuate however much. Like, for the goal that you have of gaining muscle, your carbs and fats are quite frankly irrelevant. Those can fluctuate to whatever amount. As long as you hit those calories and the protein, you should be good. And so you're probably wondering now, like, well, how do I know how much of a surplus I should be in? How do I know what my surplus should be, okay? This is going to be pretty straightforward. Okay, so for everyone, it's going to be different. So I can't give you a one size fits all. Eat this much of a caloric surplus, eat this many calories, because this is probably your caloric maintenance. Because that's the other thing too. You have to find your caloric maintenance in order to attain that caloric surplus. And your caloric maintenance is going to be how many calories that you need to eat to not gain or lose any weight. How many calories you need to eat to stay right where you're at. And so it's pretty easy to find that, or to find a rough estimate, because it's not totally accurate. If you go online and look up a calorie calculator, and it's going to tell you, so you put in your weight, your height, your age, etc., your gender, if you're male or female, and then you are going to plug that in, and then it's going to give you a rough estimate of like how many calories that you would need to put on 2 pounds a week, or how many calories for half a pound a week. But like I said, I would recommend that you go off of your maintenance and then add about 300 to 500 calories, okay? So you can start out at 300 calories from your maintenance. So if your maintenance, for example, is 2,600 calories, then start at 2,900 calories. And then after a couple of weeks of training hard and sticking to your diet, you are then going to evaluate where you're at. You're going to say, well, I haven't gained any weight, and so I'm going to add an extra 100 calories in, or I'm going to add an extra 200 calories in. Or I am in fact losing weight, and so one, I need to make sure that I'm training hard enough, and two, I need to make sure that I add, 200-300 more calories, okay? So like I said, that thing that you find online is going to be a rough estimate. And so you can try that and try the caloric surplus based off of that, but it might not be totally accurate. So you can use it as an estimate and then adjust it according to what happens. If you start gaining weight, if it starts working, perfect, don't change a thing. But then if it's not working, you can adjust it accordingly. So if you're gaining weight too fast, you can start to eat a little bit less. If you're gaining weight too slow, or you're not gaining at all, you can add a little bit more, okay? I hope you guys found this information useful. If you never want to miss a new video, make sure you go down below and click that subscribe button. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Always remember to get her done.